Welcome everyone to Pommy and Us. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Thank you so much for the support recently. We've absolutely smashed our subscribers. I can't thank you enough. Never in my wildest dreams did I think more than 10 people would watch a weird Pom talk about foosball, but evidently it seems to be popular. 6,000 odd of you tune in, so thank you very much for that. And today what we're going to do is something that's very close to my heart. A lot of the draftees are all about talking about the top 10, who's going to be the next greatest player, but if you can nail them picks 30 plus, you're well on your way at trying to acquire a premiership list. And there is some this is a deep draft. People keep saying it. What does a deep draft mean? Not many people know what it means. People start thinking it's a super draft. It means everyone's going to be a superstar. But I always think the greatest way that I would decide this, and we talked about this last year when everyone was saying that every year they downplay the year next, I always find very early doors. We said that there's a lot of role players, and I can see role players here till about 50, players that with a right bit of TLC, the right kind of guidance, could become players that are 200 gamers. So we're going to focus our energies on looking at them diamonds in the rough. You remember old Jafar in Aladdin, the diamond in the rough. I think it was Jafar who said that. Never do that again, Pom. But we're going to have a look at this. We're going to have a look at who's outside the 30 that I wouldn't mind throwing a dart at. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this really simple. We're not going to count players that are linked to other clubs. This is open season stuff. So we're going to have a look in here. It's going to be players that are roughly in that 30 ilk. And we're going to start with a gentleman by the name of Hamish Davis, the midfielder who can play up in the forward half of the ground, an absolute endurance specialist. We've got Mr. Hamish Davis right on the 30 mark, WA product from Claremont, and he's been very, very impressive, playing the 7 games for the men's side, recording 14.3 disposals, 2.7 marks, 2.7 inside 50s, and a goal a game with a staggering 5 score involvements. He backed that up in the national champs as well for WA, 14.5 touches, 6 score involvements, just under 2 goals. And there's something there, I think, with what you look at as well. A top 5 finisher in the endurance test this year in the kilometres, 190 centimetres. He's a real game type player. And these are one of them picks here where I think with all the facets that this guy's got, his ability to break the game open, his vision, he's very one way in the terms of he looks to make things happen. I think Hamish is one of these players that is going really under the radar and could be one of them pickups where you look back at it and he's definitely a top 15 prospect. In years gone by, these players have genuinely gone higher, and I just think it's because of the so many PODs in that first 15. Why all the pundits, all the podcasters that you watch, they differ this year, and it's quite refreshing because I always like to try and take a punt with my top 10. I feel like this year anyone can take a punt with the top 10 because there's no right and wrong answers. And Hamish is that player that I feel in the right system, with the right guidance, lock him away in State League football for a year. He's got all them traits, particularly that ability to penetrate lines. And when we're looking at players like Sam Lalore and Layla, and you've got players like Harvey Langford in this draft class, I think people have slept on Hamish. He's a really solid prospect. And if you're getting him towards the end of the second round, start of the third, what a pickup. So someone that I'm really excited to see. And I think if you have got them picks around there, it allows you to be a bit creative in the earlier picks as well, if he should slide to you. Up next is Jack O from the GMV Rebels. And we love going to the Rebels here. And this guy here, for me, is that modern day footballer. At the moment, what is in vogue is that tall wing guy. That tall wing guy. And he stood out. He really did for the Vic Country this year. He really did stand out. Playing the 4 games, 13.5 touches, 4.5 marks, 10.3 of them uncontested possessions. His ability to work up and down the ground. His ability to be that exit ball. And when you are 194, this is in vogue at the moment. These taller wingmen. Incredible endurance from him. Can play at halfback, played a little bit of time as an intercept defender, also swung up at times as a last-minute option to be that conduit at half-forward. Incredibly clean. He really does lead very well as well, particularly from the wing spots, leads deep up to half-back flank. Real good option, and he's got some real outstanding traits. And these are the picks here when you're in your 30s where you're trying to make something happen. Your wingmen are the most underappreciated position, I think, in the AFL. But when you have a good wingman, you've only got to look at Carlton's improvement on the exits. Having a big-sized winger is huge on that, and he's got all that ability. He really does enter 50 really well as well, but I think just the fact that he's willing at all times to get defence is really, really impressive. The Rebels were a pretty good watch this year. 16 games for them, 23 touches, 5 score involvements, just under 5 marks and 4 tackles, showing his willingness to get forward and back. He's definitely one of them players that you want to look at in this draft class and go, if we can sign Jack, we've got a real good chance of making something happen. Up next, transition is the name of the game, as they say, and we're looking at one of my favourites in this draft class, and it's no surprise he's a halfback flanker. Pom has issues with halfback flankers, and that is none other than Harrison Oliver from the Sandringham Football Club. And you are looking at a line breaker who can defend one-on-one incredibly well with elite click kicking. He's got an absolute gem of a left peg. Decent speed, defensively very strong, but more importantly, his ability to intercept, and he's the modern-day half-back flanker. 181, if you're looking for someone here that is going to play 250, 300 games, we might have found him. This guy reminds me incredibly a lot of Cade Simpson. A big Cade Simpson-like replica here. Being a back pocket who can hit targets, you can play him higher up the ground. But at halfback, this guy has been sensational. He really showcased that in the grand final this year. Playing for Sandy, 10 games, 15.4 touches, 2.1 rebounds, 1.2 intercept marks, 2.2 tackles. But his best work was at the National Champs, where he really did showcase that for the Metros. 16 touches, 5 marks, 4 intercepts, just under 2 tackles. This guy's got everything, and this, for me, is one of them exciting picks. In a world where halfback flankers now are going for multiple firsts because the AFL has lost its mind, this is why I don't say buy halfback flankers. You draft them. And Harrison Oliver has got it all. He's got the IQ, he's got the ball use, he's got the calmness, he's got the defence. Everything you want in a halfback flanker. And you know me, I love a halfback. Like, I was huge on the Cowan train when no one talked about him. I'm surprised Harry Oliver doesn't get more love, old Harrison Oliver. He is sensational. And keeping with the halfback flankers, we've got a little legend here in 189, Angus Clark from Glen Elg. And Ben Camporelli's messer here. This guy here, elite kick. Incredible run and carry. He's the South Australian Harrison Oliver, let's be honest. And he's got endurance to burn to go with that speed. 10 games for Glenelg in the under-18s, 16.7 touches, 5 marks, 7 intercept possessions, 2.4 tackles. And he's got that height where he brings the ball to ground. Them 7 intercept possessions were incredible. And he is a nephew of Matty Clark, the former Adelaide player. And he's got it all. He plays the game really tough, but he's got that je ne sais quoi. He's got that class. And at South Australia, they had a tough Nationals champs, has to be said, but 17 touches, 6 intercepts, 2 intercept marks, 2.3 spoils, 5 rebound 50s, 1.5 tackles. This guy was a constant run and carry threat who looked to hit targets. But his one-on-one defending on the deck is absolutely insane, and his ability on the ground at 189 should be understated. If you're looking for ready-made footballers here, this guy is someone that can start at halfback almost instantaneously. I am a big fan of Angus Clark, and this will be a bargain. I'm telling you now, I am willing to stick my neck on the line and say we redo this draft in 2030 39. This guy's top 20. I'm a big fan of Angus Clark. Really reliable, really solid competitor, and someone that you should all be looking out for if you've got them later picks. And then, to finish, we're going to stay in the defence, and this is why I'm saying you can see the top 20 is littered with attacking talent. If you're looking for that icing, we've got the nice sponge, we've filled it with cream and jam, and now we're fondenting. Fondenting? Do you fondant? Is that a verb? To fondant? We've made it a verb. James Barrett from the Bendigo Pioneers. And I always say this, if you're looking for someone big and tough and you want to fill out your back line or your forward line with some physicality, you bring in some country boys because they're as tough. They are tough. And this guy here has played forward and back, 194. An incredible read of the ball, it has to be said. And this guy flies like a flying fish. Shout out to BugsBell, who helped me come up with that one. Did play a VFL game this year as well, and you can go and see that for Essendon, where he was absolutely sensational. 10 touches, 2 intercept marks, 5 marks, 3 of them were intercepts. National championships for the country, he had 9.3 touches, 5 marks, just under a goal a game. And for Bendigo, he was absolutely sensational down the back and up forward. 16 touches, 2.1 contested marks, 3.5 intercept marks, just under 2 goals. And this guy here has really grown. I think he is... Alex Tyree's copping a lot of love for his last back-end form. I think James Barrett is the best kept secret in this AFL draft. His ability to showcase up forward and down back is sensational. I think in the AFL, this guy is going to be a backman. I really do. His ability to engage contact late and back himself to get there with his short burst speed shouldn't be understated. But also his ability to attack that ball and come from positions where he's so out of position, his vertical leap gets him in there. I'm a big fan of this guy, and if you're looking to complement that and you've got players on your list who are experts in this craft, all that je ne sais quoi can be passed on through that imprint learning. I'm a big fan of James Barrett and definitely one to look out for. If you are interested in us going a bit deeper, I know some of your teams have picks in the 40s and 50s. We'll do another video. We'll do in the decades. We've got later this week 1 to 10, 20 to 30, all that malarkey. We're going right up to 100 this year. So enjoy that. We're going to have loads of them player profiles. We're going to condense them together to make it a bit more palatable for you. Peace, love, and light. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's